Do you like to get comic books signed? Let's find out. What is going on, everybody? Justin here, aka No Good Comics, and welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I am not currently on screen, and there's a very good reason for that, mainly being because I've been dealing with some sort of eye infection over the past couple of days, and I basically look like that scene in Hitch when Will Smith has an allergy issue with fish, and if you can picture that with a large eye, that's kind of what I've been dealing with, something similar, maybe not as, that bad, but either way, it's been kind of a brutal couple of past days. It's definitely been a little bit more challenging to even read or watch TV or anything because it's my right eye's been pretty messed up. So I'm doing this kind of off screen today, but I will be putting up the comments as usual. So if you're new here, take a moment, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We are talking about the topic, which question of the week last week, it was, do you like to get comic books signed? And so a few of you left some comments. I want to go through them and kind of share my thoughts on them. And I appreciate everybody who took the time to leave a comment. If you ever want to participate in these, I'm asking questions every week on my top 5 picks for New Comic Book Day videos. So keep an eye out for those every Thursday. They premiere 12:30 Eastern time every Thursday. So yeah, I'm going to have a question. If you want to leave an answer, go for it. I'll probably read them here on these follow-up videos, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to give my quick opinion on this, and then I'm going to go into some of the comments. Generally speaking, my initial thoughts for this is, do I like to have my comic book signed? Not too often. I will say if I have an opportunity with an artist or a creator, a writer of some sort that means something special to me, maybe the story means something special, or the character themselves, the series itself means something special to me, and I have that opportunity, then perhaps I'll get it signed. I know, if I ever get to meet Chris Claremont, that's definitely going to be something on my list that I'd love to do. I'm going to put up on here on screen. This is a book that one of my first CGC/signing processes that I ever went through was with this book right here, Hulk 271. Yeah, so I got this book signed by Al Milgrom. This is Incredible Hulk 271. And this was an extra special opportunity for me because my dad is actually friends with Al Milgrom, and Al's actually the one who helped my dad start his career. Started with Marvel and DC because of a phone call from Al, and it's a cool story that my dad shares, and something that made me consider when I saw that Al was going to be at a Comic-Con. This was I think 3 years ago. Here in Jersey, there was an East Coast Comic-Con, so I had him sign this, and it was just really nice to have a conversation and really build that experience. I think that's the main thing I'm getting at here is, I think it's worth it to get a book signed when you are going for the experience of it. The memory that you're creating of talking to that individual, getting to know them, and having something special signed by somebody who might mean something to you, or like I said, maybe it's the series that's something special to you or helped you, with a part of your life or something to that effect. So, other than that, I'm not really going too crazy out of my way to get things signed all the time. I know for Comic-Cons and trade shows, there are times where a lot of times I'll even just go walk up to the creator just to meet them and say hi and not necessarily get things signed. But yeah, if there's an opportunity there and it's not a very costly one, then, I'll certainly give that a go. And again, someone like a Chris Claremont, to me personally, would be extra special to want to have that type of opportunity. So, but it's different for everybody. And again, any books that I do get signed, they're keepers for me. That's again, it's more about the experience. And me just keeping that memory by holding on to that book. So while it is cool that I got this Incredible Hulk one CGC'd, it really, in a way, when I think about it, it was kind of pointless because it's not a book that I ever want to get rid of. So I probably didn't need to pay the extra fees for CGC witnessing and getting a slab and all that other stuff. But anyways, here we are. So so I definitely, I seek these out if there's the opportunity there. But otherwise, not really going too crazy out of my way. I try not to buy books signed because, again, you're missing the experience of that. So, but anyways, I'm going to get into the comments and we can kind of, go from there. And again, if you didn't get a chance to leave a comment in the original video that asked this question, feel free to leave a comment in this section here. I'd love to hear your thoughts and let me know what you think of the idea. Do you like to get comic books signed? So, all right, with all that being said, I'm going to go into the kick off the first question here, I should say. And we're going to start with my man, Brother John Comics. Brother John says, I'm big on signed books. Love going to cons and getting things signed and interacting with the creators and having the chance to say thank you for creating something I connected with. I don't know if it devalues the book or not, but it increases the sentimental value to me, and that's the main yardstick I use for all my books. John, this is great, man. I just like I was saying before, like I totally agree. I think that this is it means something to you. And so that sentimental value, that's all that matters to you, and no one can take that from you. No one can replace that book for you. It's a special book when you have something signed by somebody that you connected with, whether it was the book you connected with or the writing or the creator themselves. So all that goes a long way. And I've certainly heard people discuss the idea of it devaluing the book when somebody writes on it or draws on it. But again, if this is something that is for you, for your personal collection, your PC, right, which it sounds like it is, Brother John, then that's all that matters. And so, like you listed there, it increases the sentimental value to you personally, and that's all that matters. So spot on there, and I appreciate the comment. All right, next up on the list, I have a comment here from BDG Comics, and he says, I would love to get a comic book signed, especially from the creators I really enjoy, but I'm pretty new to the hobby and never really had that opportunity yet. BDG, man, as always, I appreciate the comment. I love the insight here. And it's if you're newer to the hobby, first of all, welcome. I think it's awesome. I love that I'm seeing more and more, newer collectors, newer readers join this hobby. And even a lot of those who may have, grown up with it as a child and jumped back into it now as an adult. So that's awesome to hear. And obviously I've seen you leave comments before. I appreciate the support and I really appreciate this comment here. So, with what you're saying, you just haven't had a chance to, but you'd really like to. I would say go for it, man. If you get an opportunity to, go to a Comic-Con, I mean, obviously that's probably the best way to go about it. I know that there are CGC services where you can, they have these, what they call private signings. Where you could actually submit books to CGC down in Florida, and they actually have an artist or a writer, sit down and sign thousands and thousands of books, and they're all, officially witnessed and all this other stuff, and then they get them cased and, CGC graded, and then they ship them back to you and all that stuff. I've seen that process go, or a lot of people try that process. For me personally, I'm not really a fan just because I don't get the experience of meeting that individual. So that was, to me, that's something that I look forward to, like I mentioned earlier, is really connecting with that person or those people, the creators that you're trying to get signed. And so to me, if you were to send it into CGC to get signed as like a private, part of their process, it's not really quite the same. So if I were you, if you get a chance, and if you can go out to an actual Comic-Con or some sort of local event where or maybe even like your local LCS has some sort of guest, coming to do signings, which I know are done from time to time as well, depending where you are. I would say go that route just because the experience itself is it's so much better. It's so worth having that story to tell your friends, to tell other people about, hey, like, check this book out. I got it signed. And in fact, I was there the day of, and I talked to the person, and they were so cool, so down to earth, and, all that stuff. So it's just it's building on that experience. It's building on that memory, as I've said before. So I think if you're considering it, definitely a route to go down. But otherwise, if you're looking to just get book signed, like I said, there is that other way to go about it as well with the private signings for CGC also. But BDG, thank you so much for the comment. All right. Sorry if the dogs are chiming in the background. Wouldn't be a No Good Comics video without it, though, right? Next up on my list of comments here is by my good friend Flash by Night Comics. Appreciate the comment, Flash. He says, I don't mind signed books, especially if they are forever in my PC books, my personal collection. I know signatures aren't universally loved, so if it's a book I might sell one day, I shy away. And yeah, Flash, great comment. I appreciate it, and that's also a good thing to consider as well. If depending what your goal is with that book, if it's something that you're looking to sell one day or make a profit on, signatures might not necessarily be the way to go. If you are looking to have more options available in terms of buyers, because as you just mentioned, not everybody wants extra ink on their books. So you would be kind of focused on a select amount of people out there that do appreciate the signatures if it is something that you are signing later. And then of course it also would depend on if you did have it signed, would you have it witnessed or not? I know there are books out there obviously that are signed and aren't they're not cased, they're not slabbed by a slabbing company, and that's another thing altogether where, I would say be wary of, if you are buying signed books, that you want to have some sort of certification or proof, that book is signed. Otherwise, technically, obviously somebody could just scribble on it and say that it's someone else's signature. So something to be aware of. But yeah, Flash, great point here that, for you personally, if it's going to be a book you're keeping forever, you want to keep it in, or you're not afraid to get it signed, which is cool. And then, like you said, if you think that you will sell it one day, then you shy away from it. So that makes sense. So thank you, Flash. Appreciate the comment. All right, next comment on the list, we have my man Mark Robinson. Mark says, I've never gotten a comic book signed. I'm not sure if I'd like to get my book signed. Why mess up the cover? Maybe if the signature was inside one of the pages, maybe then I would get it done. There are some creators that really care about the signature, and they use markers that are color coordinated with the colors on the cover. So that was cool. But if the cover is exceptional, I wouldn't want it ruined with a signature sprawled across it. If I were a grader, I would feel compelled to deduct points. I imagine these creators are signing so many books at shows that after a while, they just sign anywhere out of sheer exhaustion. Mark, man, as always, I appreciate the comment. A lot of great things here. First of all, yeah, I mean, it's a great point. Why mess up the cover? If it's something you truly appreciate as just the art itself, then maybe not have anyone write anything on the front cover. I totally get that. And then, as you mentioned before, having somebody maybe sign the inside of the pages. I know that was a very popular thing, back in the day. I know, I mean, this was before I was collecting comics, but I know that my dad, as an artist, he would do a lot of signatures on the inside of the cover, and that was for the very purpose of what you're saying here, which, collectors didn't want the front cover art to be ruined. So yeah, that totally makes sense. And even now today, like, I know I have an X-Men book that I found has a signature from John Byrne on the inside, which is really cool because John Byrne, you can't really get his signature. He doesn't give it up, as like a CGC type thing or anything like that nowadays. So yeah, kind of as like an old school collector type of signature, I was lucky to find one that was on the inside. So you could that's one thing I like to look up and open the books up if I can to see these, see what's inside. And then the other thing I wanted to touch on is the point you make here about creators using different markers, different colors that line up with depending on what the cover is. And you're right, there are definitely some really cool ones out there. I have some friends who in this community that when they're getting something signed, they have a specific request. If you have an all black cover and you want to get it signed, maybe you want to have it in a nice bright silver ink so you can really see it. I think location plays a big role too, depending on what it is and what the cover is. I think there are covers out there that have, some sort of location that can really fit a signature nicely without ruining the cover too much. So again, depending on what it is. And then on the flip side, I've definitely seen some bad ones too. Some bad locations, some bad usage of certain colors that don't really look well on the on the cover itself. Maybe a black ink on black ink, is tough to read. Or a silver on a gray cover of some sort. So, definitely something to keep in mind if you are getting those things, if you are getting a book signed yourself, to, put that request in, to have kind of something in mind, at least a location and a ink color. Because otherwise, I mean, yeah, like kind of to the end of your point here, Mark, there are some that look really bad if it's just kind of, done in a sloppy way or just kind of scribbled anywhere. So if you get the choice to, and you ask nicely, I'm sure that a lot of these creators will, do as the request is in terms of location and ink color. So yeah, with that being said, appreciate the comment, Mark. All right, next comment on the list is my man Michael, aka Sove Collector, who, by the way, I just had on the channel this past Saturday for Comic Collector Origins. If you missed that, definitely check it out. Had a blast talking with Michael. So yeah, a lot of fun there. Michael here, he says, I do like to get books signed. Not a fan of buying books signed. I'm of the opinion it does devalue the book. He goes on to say, for me, it's a way to thank the creators of the book. It's a reason to walk up to the table and say why I enjoyed their work. Most all of the books I've had signed are lower grade. I bought them off the shelves, read the pants off of them, and the signatures to me give them new life. They'll always stay with me. Michael, I think those are great points as well. And generally, I'm pretty much with you there. I don't mind getting the book signed myself if it's me doing it and going through that process and being able to give, like a thank you to the creators for what they did, what they put together, and maybe what that meant to me. Maybe even ask them questions. And again, going back to my point of, building that experience or that memory for yourself. That now that you have this book, one, as you mentioned, you read the pants off of it, right? You kept reading and enjoying these books. And so you have that memory. And now to kind of add to it a certain value for yourself is to have a signature to that. And you can draw back to that memory and saying, yeah, I got to meet that person. I got to talk to them. I got to, compliment them on the book and ask them questions about it. And as you just mentioned here, it'll stay with you forever. So it all depends on kind of your end game, for sure. And so great points there, Michael, and I'm definitely with you there. Appreciate the comment. All right, next up on the comment list here, I got my man Gore Vidal, and I love this comment. He says, after consulting with my lawyers, their therapist, my therapist, her therapist, my spiritual advisors, my personal trainer, her personal trainer, my primary physician, his nursing staff, my masseuse, Monica Bellucci, and the Dalai Lama, my answer is no. So good. Gore, I appreciate the comments as always, and always being such a truthful guy and straightforward, never holding back, my friend. So keep it going, and I appreciate the comment. All right. And the dogs continue to bark. Next up on the list, we got my man Bobby De La Ghetto, Station Bobby. He says, do I like to get books signed? ? I love getting books signed. I'm not sure if it increases or decreases the value of the book, but I do know that it increases the value of my life. In fact, Justin, I like to see about getting your dad to sign a book or maybe even a sketch cover. We need to talk, brother. Bobby, absolutely, man. Absolutely. We can definitely make all that happen for sure. I'll reach out, my friend. I really appreciate this comment. This is awesome. Yeah, I mean, like you said, like if it's increasing the value of your life, right? If it's increasing the value of what it means to you, and again, the memories that you build from that experience, I think that's what matters the most. So if that's something that you're into, if that's something you're looking for, then I say go for it. And so I love that you're saying that here, that you love to get the book signed. Awesome stuff there, Bobby. And yes, I will definitely reach out. We'll make that happen, man. I appreciate the comment. All right, and the last comment I have that I'll be reading off for today goes to 62 Lefty Blues. Appreciate the comment, 62. He says, I will track down an artist or writer signed book. I have had some books signed at shows. I hang some signed books framed on the wall, not trade paperbacks, but singles. Very, very good, 62. And yeah, I think again, depending if you're cool with getting that, tracking down a signed book, as having it being part of your collection, then I say go for it. I mean, I do have plenty of those too. I have my X-Men 1 is signed by Stan Lee, and that was one that unfortunately I was not able to get that signature myself. I had won that in a raffle, so it kind of just came with, and I'm certainly not complaining in any sense of the matter, but I would have loved to have met Stan Lee if I could have during that time. But yeah, so if that works for you, if that's a process that works for you, hunting down certain books that are already signed, then I say go for it. I see that you even mentioned that you have had some signed books at shows, which is cool too. So you're getting a little bit of both worlds in that sense. And yeah, I mean, if you have a specific goal in mind of a book that you want signed, and obviously, especially if the creator is no longer with us, obviously that's the only way you can go about it now. So I see no wrong in that, my friend. So I appreciate that. And I love the idea, like you said, getting them signed, putting them on the wall, framed on the wall. I think it's a great idea. Another thing you pointed out, not trade paperbacks, but singles. I will say I actually don't mind. I mean, I'm starting to get a little bit of a collection of trade paperbacks and even omnibus and other hardcovers. I don't mind getting those signed. I actually think those are a good way to get something signed as well. If it's just a story that really connects with you, or just you're just a fan of the writer or the artist. If it's not necessarily a single issue, or I know, again, for some who maybe you have the single issues and you're worried that it does devalue the book for you, then maybe the way to go about it is getting the trade paperback. If it's something you want to keep, and you don't want to do anything to the actual physical individual single issue, then I think that trade paperbacks, hardcovers, omnibus, I think all that's a great way to go for signatures as well. So a great point to bring up there. So 62, I appreciate the comment as always. All right, gang, and that is all I have for today with the question, do you like to get comic books signed? If you're hanging out with me here today, appreciate you taking some time to watch. Leave a comment in the comment section below. I'd still love to know your thoughts and opinions on this. If you were not one that had left a comment earlier, always open to hearing, how you go about this hobby. So for those of you watching, thank you so much. Take a moment to smash that like button on the way out. I will have a new question for you next time on the next top 5 picks for New Comic Book Day, streaming this Thursday coming up. So keep an eye out for that. I look forward to your comments. So until next time, I will talk to you later.